I can't even. It's what, like 1 a.m. At night, like 1:10. Um, Let me just calm down. Um, Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is YLPOV. Game of Thrones season 6 finale. Originally, I wasn't sure if something big was going to happen or not. Originally, I just intended to make a little bit of a summary of what happened this last season and give my opinions on it. I think if I ever do that, I probably have to do that for a separate video because there's so much that I want to talk about. First of all, let me get this out of the way. Today's been a busy day. I've had some stuff to do that I have to take care of somewhere in the city. I wasn't able to get home on time to watch Game of Thrones, and I don't have anything to record it, so I wasn't able to record the episode. I try to stay away from the internet as much as possible. I wasn't able to, but I was luckily not spoiled. I got home, TB decided to say fuck you and die on me. Straight up grabbed my monitor from my computer, connected HDMI cable, connected to the cable box, and then got the second screening of Game of Thrones on HBO. So, let's get this discussion started. Let's talk. And a let's talk and no overview. It'll sound like an overview, but it's mostly a let's talk because I just want to talk about a bunch of things. First of all, the setup, the music. The beginning introduction scene, we get the people getting ready, the trial. Game of Thrones has this thing when they give you these trailers for the next episodes, when they prepare you for certain things, and you think they're going to be important. Well, you think they're going to be important, but they end up sometimes being a small part of something much bigger. So when I watched the trailer last week, I honestly thought that this was going to be one of the big things. The trial was going to take place throughout the entire episode. Nope. We get that introduction scene, the music playing out very nicely, the King getting ready, Tommen getting ready, Cersei getting ready. They're getting Sir Loras, I think that's his name. They're getting him out of his cell, and Marjorie makes a good point to the High Sparrow. Wait, excuse me. First, Loras confesses to all his sins. He gets the carving. He says he wants to devote himself and strip his name of the Tyrell name, so he can't have children. He can't further the bloodline of the Tyrells. So after that, Marjorie makes a good point that Cersei's not here, and she tells this to the High Sparrow. She's not here for a purpose. Why is the king not here? Why is she not here? And then you see the prep, the very ominous, eerie prep of the children just running around. One of them talking to Maester Pycelle, bringing him over to the other Maester, whose name just slipped my mind because there's so much in my head right now. And then they trick them and they absolutely bloody murder him. The other one lures one of the sparrows over to the wildfire. Oh my god. And you see the High Sparrow scene, like when she's looking at Marjorie and everyone's trying to escape, you see that he understands that they're fucked. And that's something interesting because he was always talking like to Jaime. He always spoke like, oh, if death comes, I'm willing to accept it. And he said, of course I'm scared of death. And he was talking all high and mighty about it. But right now you could see like, oh shit, I fucked up and I do not want this to happen. Almost like he was scared about the consequences. I don't know. That's kind of like what I was thinking. That was what kind of was running through my head when that happens. Then you have the little bit of like of Cersei talking to that sort of say nun that's priestess, that Sparrow lady, the one who made fun of her in a way, who was making her confess, and the roles are now a little bit reversed, but reversed in the sense that this lady, she cannot move, and Cersei's was like, listen, like you're like me, like you enjoy seeing people suffer. I'm like that too. And just that, I don't want to go too much into it, but that subtle the very subtle gesture and the noises made when Sir the mountain when Clegane basically came in. Oh my god. And Cersei just she's lost it. She's evil. She's pure. She was bad before, but she has nothing now, and she has nothing because Tommen, the scene with Tommen. And I just texted this to my friend who also watches the show, by the way. And I just texted. We were talking about the death of Tommen. He said that it's something that he had never seen before, like in the way it was presented, right? And me, like the way that I watched it, it was, and I mean by that, my perspective on it is that, holy crap, you could not have done a death more well done than that for him. Him staring into the distance, seeing like the wildfire, because he wanted to go to the trial, but the mountain straight up stopped him from going, and he was forced to watch as like the building exploded, understanding that Marjorie was there, and him just like the window opening up, him slowly, very calmly taking off his crown, just going and just like standing on by the window and just boop. Well executed. Holy crap. Then we shift over to the Kingslayers, and by the Kingslayers I mean Jaime and Walder Frey. They're having a little bit of talk, and in a way it's kind of an interesting point to bring up. Walder Frey saying like, yeah, like I murdered Robb Stark in this dining area, and you killed the king, right? The Mad King. So that little bit of a contrast is very interesting because Jaime sees what could become of him, like this very old asshole basically who looks up for his family only. And I don't know if he was the one who brought it up. I think it was during the previews of the video of the episode that they brought up the fact that Walder Frey wouldn't kill the guy from the hostage that they took, the Tully, because he was technically married to the family, and that would be absolute trash. He brought up. So to that extent, he's not willing to kill him. So he wasn't gonna kill him anyway. And Jaime just shuts him down, saying like, "Listen, if the people are afraid of the Lannisters, because if we have to come, it's gonna be very bothersome if we have to come back every time, all the way to the north and save your fucking castle, because you can't fucking protect it." We shift over to a scene with Sam and Gilly. Sam straight up going informing that he has a letter from the crows, and saying that he wants to become a maester, that he has sort of a certification, a letter informing that he's gonna learn to become a maester. And he's very confident, very happy. This was kind of the more lighter tone of the episode. I wasn't too crazy about it, but it does introduce us to one very beautiful scene, and that is the library. And that library looks absolutely beautiful. I wasn't too crazy about the scene. The guy over there, the maester, basically being a bit of like a strict asshole, saying like, "Yo, no women and children are allowed, so Sam has to go by himself." And I think I read somewhere in the books. I'm not gonna spoil. No, forget. I'm not gonna say too much for show only viewers, because it may come up in the show eventually. So then we get the scene that we wanted to see: Jon Snow, Davos, Melisandre. And it happened a lot faster than I anticipated. Like Davos straight up went in there into the. Well, Jon is talking about like he talks to Melisandre, saying this is where I used to eat, and Melisandre compliments him on saying like, well, at least you had a family growing up. And Davos straight up, he barges into the room, he throws the little wooden burnt deer toy that he had, he makes Melisandre confess, and he acts like Jon Snow to murder her, not murder her, but to kill her, because she confessed for her crime, and for her crimes of murder, and she deserves to die. And then comes back like this. It's a very interesting point, which is she was wrong and therefore a lot of men died. She said that that burning her was necessary for the army, and Davos brings up the good point that even if she was burned and killed for the army, for the fire god, like Stannis still lost. Stannis still died, so she died for nothing. And she says, okay, I guess then I was wrong or something like that. But then again, this same God brought Jon Snow back, and that's the only reason why they're still alive right now. Very interesting points being made. Jon Snow gets this. He, I don't know what was going through his head. I'm not saying this in a good or bad way, but I'm saying that I just really don't understand what was going through his head when he made the decision. But he let Melisandre go, told her to ride south and never to come back, which in a way is I guess a kind of like a thank you, I guess, because him being alive thanks to her in a way, and in a way also kind of like a punishment for doing something that fucked up. As she's walking out, Davos straight up stops her in a way and tells her like, "Listen, if I see you over here, I'm gonna have you executed myself." Melisandre leaves. We see a shot of Jon and Sansa talking. Sansa straight up, no, Jon tells Sansa that she is the king of the North because he's technically not a Stark, so to say. And she's actually queen of the North. She's ruler of the North. And he repeats this thing that was running through all our heads throughout the entire week, and that is like, you knew about Littlefinger. Littlefinger married you to Ramsay, yet you still trust him. So, and this is the fucking bullshit part. Like, they just kiss and hug it all out of it. Like, she says like, "Oh, I'm sorry that this happened." I'm sorry, bitch. Like, you had wildlings and Northmen killed because of this. It has been brought up by multiple fans and readers and show viewers that if she knew that the Veil was coming, then like they could have held back the attack. Jon Snow would not have pushed himself forward. Maybe Ramsay would not have gone over with Rickard, and maybe the attack could have been delayed and they could have thought of a better strategy. But no, she wanted the element of surprise. Maybe it was Littlefinger's idea. We still don't know because Littlefinger's still being a sketchy asshole. And so that's very bothersome to me that she just kind of brushes it off like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then he just kisses her on the forehead and they're like, "Oh, it's alright." A lot of people died. And as much as I love the episode, that was like a big issue in it. As much as you saw me fanboy in my other video, like, that is a little bit bothersome. The fact that so many people died, especially now knowing that she kind of knew that they were there. Now, there are fan theories going on. It's not a spoiler because this is theories and this is may or may not come true, but there are fan theories going around that basically Sansa kind of wanted Jon's army to die a little bit. She kind of wanted the Ramsay's army to lose. That way, like, the Lords of the Vale would have like a stronger army, still be in the majority. She would eventually, people are theorizing that maybe she eventually will marry Littlefinger to be head of the North, and kill Littlefinger herself so that she could be the queen. However, those theories could partially or be true or not, because as we see further in the episode, like, that's not really where things are going. Regardless, that's fan theories. Let me just head over to the fact. She just brings up this very nice little touch. She says like, "Oh, a raven came, not a black raven, a white raven. Winter is here." So we made it, people. 6 seasons in. How many books? 6 books in or something like that. We made it. Winter is finally here. Winter is no longer coming. Winter is coming. It's now the past tense. We are speaking about the present. Winter is here. We shift over after that to Dorne the Sand Snakes talking to the Tyrells. And Tyrell, like the Granny Tyrell, is basically she's being the cocky bitch and she always is, and she indicates that there's something more that she wants straight up revenge. and the Sand Snakes and the Tyrells need to group together in order to fight together. The Sand Snake, the Queen of the Sand Snakes, basically just brings up like, I have something that may interest you even more, and we see Varys over there, which in my opinion is a little bit sketchy, because further in the episode, and that is towards the end of the episode, which I'll just mention quickly right now, Varys is in the boat with Daenerys, but the fact that he's there with Daenerys and the fact that he's with the Sand Snakes doesn't particularly mean that he's fighting for Daenerys. I feel that, because we haven't really heard anything from him. He hasn't said anything. We don't know anything about his plans. It could be part of something bigger, because there are things in the books that indicate that Varys has some seriously sketchy stuff going on. Then Daario has to stay with the second sons. He's not too crazy about it. He loves Daenerys. He admits his love. He doesn't want to do it, but does it anyway. Daenerys speaks to Tyrion after that in the scene. It was clear that Tyrion made this decision to have Daario stay with the people while she goes out there and fights and conquers. She makes him Hand of the King, and there's a little bit of like this atmosphere going on between them. Indicating that maybe something may grow between them. I think, because this was not your just simply friendly, like, hey, we're friends atmosphere. This was more like look each other in the eyes and that kind of stuff. Then we shifted over to one of my favorite scenes this episode. Just Walder Frey on the table, and my God, just him getting the pie, and the girl standing next to him, and he's complaining like, where are my sons? And this is the scene that I was hoping to see. I thought this was going to happen during the celebration with the Lannisters. I didn't know it was going to happen now. So seeing this, I was like, all right, I know where this is going. Oh my God. Walder Frey asking around, where are my sons? And the lady straight up tells him like, oh, your sons are right here. And him being an old dumbass, being a little bit confused, like, what do you mean? Like, what the fuck are they doing? Oh, but they're right here. And he looks down, he opens the meat pie and sees like this little piece of an ear, I think. That's what it looked like, at least in my eyes. And just the moment she reaches here, like the moment she goes to one, that's when you know nobody, a faceless assassin takes off her face, and you have Arya over there slitting his throat. Oh my God. And her line saying like, this is the last thing I want you to see, like a Stark smiling at you. Oh my God. Then Littlefinger attempting on Sansa denying him. And Littlefinger being this ominous little guy saying like, hey, like, you're like, stories are gonna go around the Seven Kingdoms about this victory, so just watch out. And he may or may not have told us his real purpose, and that is to be sit on the Iron Throne. And in a way, it doesn't conflict really with the North, to be honest, because if they could devise something to have, for example, Jon Snow be the king of the North and Littlefinger like rule over Westeros, then I mean, I could see that working. But then he brought up the fact that he wants Sansa to be next to him, and things just got a little bit awkward. She doesn't want it. It went a little bit towards the kids, but did not happen. Then the whole Benjen and Bran situation, we were waiting for this. People were speculating this was going to happen, and it happened. We got more info, more flashbacks to Lyanna Stark and Ned Stark. And this is an interesting part, because if she was just going to die, she could have straight up died on the bed, on a bloody bed, and Ned Stark could have left, and Jon Snow could have been legit Ned's bastard. It could have. But then she says, I don't want to die. Why would she say that? Because she has something to live for aside from her family, and that is of course a baby. And she's whispering something. Not everything is clear, but the part, and Bran does hear he does know what she says, so that's another mystery that we get unsolved. But she does repeat the very known phrases in the Game of Thrones um, universe, and that is, "Promise me, Ned, promise me." And then we get the baby, and the baby slowly starts to open his eyes as he's looking to Ned Stark, and it shifts over to Jon Snow's face. Great, perfect. We wanted to see this, we got it. This season has been a lot of fan service. Holy crap! Then, Lady Mormont calling out some bullshit, because like there's a lot of Northmen over there, a lot of Northmen groups and houses, and some of them don't want to be near wildlings and all that bullshit, and like they don't know what's gonna happen. And you have the three houses who in a way kind of didn't help out during the war with against Ramsay, and one of them being the guy, the king who didn't want to fight alongside wildlings. The other one who did nothing after the Red Wedding, and apparently his son was murdered during it. Then you have the apparently a prince who became king after Ramsay skinned his father alive, and they're all kind of trying to justify their situation and why they didn't help and what needs to be done. And straight up, like, this girl, Lady Mormont, I need to look up her. I'm not gonna do it now, but I need to look up who that actress is. She set herself up for a good acting career with this by doing what she's doing right now. She calls all the three houses on their shit. The North remembers. She tells that, like, she calls them out, like, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do that. Fuck you. And then their dicks start to quiver, and the first guy to admit his wrong was the guy who did nothing after his son got murdered at the Red Wedding. He straight up lays down his sword. He says, like, that Jon Snow is the king of the North. The next one is the guy who was against the wildlings, and we still haven't really developed really what his opinion is on it, though my assumption is that he is completely fine now by it. That's what we're supposed to assume, that he's fine with fighting alongside Wild Walkers, because Jon Snow brings up the point that the war's not over yet. There are monsters out there that will bring the storm with them, and they don't care if it's storming or not. They're gonna break shit down. And it's just this really heartwarming, almost made me teary, where everyone starts yelling out, "King of the North, King of the North," and you have Littlefinger, like, looking in the distance a little bit, like, it's a little bit suspicious the way he's, a little bit, not a lot. It's really suspicious the way he's looking at Sansa as she was first starting to smile, and turns to Littlefinger, and then all of a sudden something is going on. Something's gonna happen next season between those. I don't know how far Littlefinger's gonna make it into the series as a villain, because he's not an ally. He's only doing this for his own benefit, and he made the good bets since the beginning against Remy. They had this little thing where they would bet on nights. He's always been that betting type, and he bet correctly. At the end of the day, he could have gone with, he kind of decided who was gonna win or not, because he could have betrayed the North. He could have had betrayed Jon Snow and Sansa and gone along with Ramsay, but he clearly wants something with Sansa, and that's affecting his decision making to a certain degree. And that may become his downfall. Then Jaime is riding back from the phrase, and he sees the building on fire. He goes in there, and just this very fucked up. I mean, in a way fucked up, but I mean, very strong shot of Cersei in her black dress, sitting on the Iron Throne, now a queen. And thinking about it, if Jaime was not of a Kingsguard, he would have made king, I think. He would have been more eligible than Cersei at least, but he's a Kingsguard, so he's not allowed to. And there's been a prophecy. For those of you who watch the show only, you remember when the witch told Cersei about her children dying and all that shit when she was just a little kid. Part of the prophecy was that her own lover, I think, or brother would murder her, and there is a possibility the way things are going, it could be Tyrion because he's going in there with Daenerys. But the way Jaime was looking at it, the situation, holy shit. Because Cersei right now, she has no other reason, aside from Jaime, she has no other reason to give a fuck about people. She lost everything almost. Aside from Jaime, she lost everything. In King's Landing, she lost everything. She has no reason to give a fuck about anything else. And that makes her really, really dangerous. She has that maester who can experiment on all kinds of shit. She has the mountain. Ooh. And she's responsible for Tommen's death. She is, and she knows it. When she went to see his body, she knew it was her fault. Now the season ends with the big prep that's going to happen, and that is boats. You see Reek, and I'm so used to calling him that now, but you see crap. You see basically just the Iron Islands. Excuse me. I've been talking for half an hour straight with so much in my head. You see, I think you see the boats. You see Daenerys. They're about to go to Westeros. They're about to break shit down. You see Varys behind him, so he maybe recruited the Sand Snakes and Tyrells. And you have to think about it this way: Daenerys, she is heading to Westeros. She wants to conquer it. We saw the vision of Westeros completely burned down. It could be her doing. But she doesn't know about the White Walkers, and that's where Jon Snow comes in, and R plus L equals J. How is this going to be pushed upon everyone? How is this going to be translated and shown to everyone that Jon Snow is technically a rightful heir as well? Because he's a guy, he's not a girl, and I think in their politics, males get priority among women. So technically, Jon Snow is the rightful heir of the Seven Kingdoms, even though I think that he will deny it. Now, one last thing I want to bring up before I finish this video. It's been going on for half an hour. That is the fact that there were rumors of going around that maybe Melisandre does eventually get executed, and her head or her blood eventually lights up the blade of Jon Snow's blade that would eventually become like the Sword of Fire or something like that, or the Sword of Light, that is technically the weapon of Azor Ahai, the so to say the chosen one, the prophesied one. So maybe that will be on the way. Maybe Melisandre does have to come back and warn them about something, and she will have to, regardless, get executed for her crimes. Unfortunately, we didn't get more development on her being this old lady. I would have been interested in understanding more the idea and what's the fuck's up with that. Regardless, this is 30 minutes of me blabbering around. If you like this video, hit the like button down below. Subscribe to my channel. I will probably do a small recap, not as long as this one, about this entire season, because this season 6 has been amazing. This has been full of fan service. I absolutely loved it. If you want my short version of it, subscribe to my channel down below. Hit the like button down below. I would highly appreciate it. My name is DLPOV, and have a good week. And thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking along. Thank you for sticking by for these 30 minutes. Bye.